Okay, new series. This is Strophium, and what I'm doing in this video, this is going to be the first in a series where I try to the best of my ability, recreate a game that I like. In this case, it is Ball Pit or Ball X Pit. So for context, I'm an industry veteran, about a decade of experience. I work predominantly in Unity, but I've got experience, sort of all over the place. But we're going to focus on Unity because that is what I'm best at and what I like. And also in this case, I believe Ball Pit, I'm just going to call it Ball Pit. I think people have called it Ball X Pit, but that's weird to me. Anyway, I believe Ball Pit is made in Unity as well. So what I'm going to try to do is basically each of these videos, I'm going to treat it essentially like a Jira task that I have in a studio where I have to get something done, by the end of the day or whatever. And the video will contain the completion of that task, and then I'll move on. So the length of the videos may vary. I may also switch that up depending on, format and like what people like, what's intriguing. But I like the idea of containing it to one task per video. So I don't really want this to be like a tutorial series. To preface, so much like sort of like Adam Savage's Tested series, it's more of like this is how I do it rather than this is how you do it. So if you want something sort of didactic to take away from it, I would say focus more on the questions that I'm asking myself and the way that I go about quantifying my knowns and unknowns and how I approach overcoming the hurdle of bridging the gap between things I know how to do and the things that are sort of up in the air. And generally the approach that I take is, get rid of all the stuff that is known, get that stuff in place, and then the problem space kind of manifests itself and makes itself a little bit clearer. And it could very well be the case that you go back and refactor, but that's the way that I work. It tends to be the fastest and most productive, so we're just going to go into it. So what this episode is going to be about is I'm going to try to recreate the arena. You see I have a screenshot on the UI here. It's just a raw image that I have that's a screenshot of a game that I played. And what I want to do is recreate this arena. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create out a segment and then I'm going to prefab that segment out. Segment being like this whole portion of arena that moves down the screen. And I'm going to prefab that out, and then I'm going to build a arena treadmill where there's basically, X number of arena segments. They spawn in front, despawn in the back, and they just keep going like that. And every time they appear on the screen, it more or less triggers the next wave. I'm actually not sure if that's how Ball Pit does it, though. I think it's a factor of distance and also how available space there is. So I think there's some kind of equation there that I got to figure out. But that's a future Strophium problem. Present Strophium problem is get the segment built. So I'm just going to start drafting this out in ProBuilder. And cube. So I've got grid snapping on because I want everything to be perfect cubes. All right, so what I'm going to do, the reason that I have this screenshot here is because I want to treat this as sort of like an onion skinning thing. So I need to make sure that the camera is getting this in frame. Okay, here we go. Well, this is tripping me up. Let me just turn this off for now. Oh, that would be why. Okay. So the idea is I want this platform to be the base platform here. So I'm going to make some assumptions right now. I'm going to say that the The characters, I'm just going to assume that they're regular 2x1 capsules. So we're going to plunk this in here. We're going to call this player. And we'll put him at the origin. And okay, that's how I want it. And I'm also going to make an assumption that these base enemies are like a 2x2, in which case we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 width as the base width. And there are 3 stages that expand. I believe it expands by 4 and then 4 and then 4 again. So 2 on each side, 2 on each side, 2 on each side. So that's 14 plus 12. Means I have to go at least 26 wide. So we'll just make it like 32 wide as the base platform, just so we have a lot of leeway. And then there's a sort of level up for looks like 4, and then there's like that sheer kind of cliff to frame the scene. So that's what we shall do. We'll go to this platform. Excuse me. Okay. So what I like to do here is, so this is already a 2x2. So if it's 14, it's 7 on each side. So I need to go 6 out. 1, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I think we'll just make this like 16 long and see how that is. Powers of 2 are nice. So that's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's our 16 by 14 platform. And I think just for the color coordination, I'm going to do that. So that way I can make a little placeholder for the baddie. So my presumption is that he's going to be like a 2x2x1, which I think is a fair assumption. Whoops. I guess I'll just make him purple. But I want his top and bottom, his top and sides to be more distinguishable, so that way I can see more clearly. Okay, so the platform is where I want it. I want it flat on the ground. So the adjustments that we have to make are on the camera. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play with the angle first. Sorry, here we go. And it's obviously way too high. Okay, here we go. So what I want to do is I want to like get it ballpark. And then I'm gonna make some assumptions about the numbers. Oh, actually. Okay. So we're pretty close here. I would say, okay. So we're at 74. Let me just round this down to 70. Let me round this down to 20. And that's 7. That might be just good enough. Maybe we need it a little bit less zoomed in. No, I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna call that like a quirk of the texture there. Okay. So what I need to do now is I'm going to make sure that we're accommodating the scaling out. What did I say? It goes 2, 4, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that makes it 26 wide, 16 long. And I think I'm actually going to make this 32. We'll just see how that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, that covers a pretty good portion of the screen, so I think we'll call that good there. It's going to be, we'll call this 4. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to make another cube here for, oh, I'm at a weird angle. Hold up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how many I just increased. And then it goes. Yeah, no, that's it. Okay. Well, where did we go? Okay. Pro Builder. I'm going to duplicate you, move you over. That doesn't look right. What happened there? Oh, interesting. Okay. Redo. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there we go. Just a little bit off. That's weird. I shouldn't be able to make that incorrectly with grid snapping, but that's fine. Figure that out another time. Okay, so we got this inner wall, and we're gonna vertex color it. I guess I'll do like a gray. Okay, we'll do that. Duplicate it. Excuse me. Okay, perfect. let's just double check what we got going on here. Oh, that's not right. I see what I did. All good. All good. Counting is hard. Okay. Then what did I say? It's like 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we got this guy. Actually, what I'm gonna do is bring these out 2 more. And then the same deal with this. I think what I'll just do with this, I'll just duplicate this, bring it up 1. Pro Builder, edit. And what we'll do with this, so we'll make this a darker gray, like a sort of slate color for the wall. I'll just make it like 16 high, see if that's good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Duplicate this, bring that over. And that's our base arena segment, more or less. So what we're gonna do here is just tidy this up. This is gonna be right inner wall. This is going to be right outer wall. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. Create empty. So I know you can group select and do create empty parent, but what I don't like about that is it will sort of create an arbitrary center and position based off of where it is. And I like having things, I like having prefabs rooted at the origin. So that's why I'm going to make a actual origin base object and then drag them into it. P arena segment. This is an enemy. That's the floor. All right, so we can do left inner wall, right inner wall, left inner. Whoops, sorry. That's what I want to do. Okay, perfect. Boom. So got that. Then in the prefabs. Oh, I did a take yesterday and it was a nightmare, so I scratched it. But I had a lingering arena prefab segment there. Okay, so next we need a script for the arena segment. And then we also need a script for the arena treadmill. So let's just think about this first. We just want to get the motion for the arena segment. And because of the way that enemies and stuff work, I want to have like things like the base game speed be like a globally accessible config, and an easy way to do that is just have a scriptable object that has this stuff. It also makes it more easily tweakable at runtime. That way, things like instantiated prefab instances, if they're referencing a scriptable object, they'll all inherit the changes in real time. Whereas if they have just serialized values, you have to go through each of them and change it individually. So I'm going to go ahead and create a scriptable object. I'm just going to call it game config. And this is going to be called game config. This is going to be, let's do config. Okay. This is going to be public float base game speed get, I think, yeah. And let's do, I don't know how fast I want it to be, so we'll just default it to 1. So then in the arena segment, private game config. Want to make sure config is not null. And I think the way that I want to handle movement in this game in general is I don't want it to be physics based, because even though it appears like Ball Pit is a very physics based game, I want complete control over the collisions. So for that reason, there's 2 ways you can go. You can either do like rigid body and make everything kinematic, but I also want to have motion and animation for the impacts, which it can get complicated if you're trying to do proper collisions with that. So I think I'm just going to do triggers. And we'll see if that bites me in the ass. Anyway, I just need, well, let me think about this actually. Yeah, because I can move them with kinematic rigid bodies. I'm thinking about this now. Hold on. Yeah, I'll just presume they're kinematic rigid bodies. So for this, I will require a component. Rigid body. Rigid body. And private void fixed update. I'm gonna do rigid body dot move position. Later on, I'm gonna want to maybe delegate this movement to some kind of game controller, but we'll see. Or I could just check if there's like a paused game state or something. I'll do negative vector 3 dot forward time. Okay, that works. Oh, my bad. it would help if I added an arena segment. Don't use gravity, is kinematic. I need to make the game config instance as well. So I'm going to make a config folder. Create config. Get base game speed is 1. Let's, oh, I didn't assign it. I'm jumping the gun. Overrides, apply all. All right, so this should just move by itself. It's not. Interesting. Oh. There we go. What I was doing was moving it towards, yeah. Let's see. I was moving it towards a fixed position rather than a direction. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's good. But I think I actually want to move this logic to, so I either want the treadmill to be responsible for all of the motion, or I want the treadmill to know when it's moved its entire length and then notify the treadmill. So what are the benefits of this? In one case, the one that I just mentioned, we are coupling the arena segment to the treadmill. The trade-off is that the treadmill will be moving the segments directly, which I don't see so much as a problem. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so this treadmill, so what I'll do here is wait. See, I don't like the idea of some other script controlling a rigid body. That is a spaghetti waiting to happen. So I think what I will do is a public event action on I'll do on completed path or path completed. There we go. And then in fixed update, I'll say if rigidbody.position.z is less than so basically I want to check to see if its position is negative of its length. So I can do like rigid body not constraints. Right now I'm trying to think of doing it a smart way, but I think it could just, because I know how long it is, I could just use a constant value. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to check here is, so this we know it's 32 long. So if this arena segment is at like, so this is what negative 16 looks like. Oh yeah, we'll just say negative 32, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to define a const, private const, segment length equals 32. And the z position is less than segment length, no. Then what we're going to do is okay, so for arena treadmill, I think I'm not even going to bother instantiating them dynamically. Instead, what I'll do is private arena segment, and then private void awake, debug assert segments dot length. Yeah. And then for each var segment and segments, we're going to segment. There we go. All right. This AI autocomplete is like finicky. I'm getting it to work decently, but it still makes some silly assumptions. Anyway, then also we want to do segment dot, no, not segment. Path completed. We're going to create a callback method. actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pass in arena segment as the payload for this event, so that way we don't have to even keep track of it. And what we're gonna do, segment. So once path is completed, we already know the length of this, so we're gonna make this a public constant. And in the treadmill, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set segment dot so because I want the rigid body control to remain in here, I'm going to just public void move to teleport to vector3 position. Whoops. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do rigid body dot move position to position. Okay. And that position is just the length of the array times the length of actually, you know what? This is actually going to be teleport to index, and then index is just going to be, so we can actually contain this const as well, so we don't have to do this. So this is going to be new vector3 0 segment length times index 0. Okay, and then so when this is done, we're going to say segment teleport to index segments length -1. Okie dokie. We got to invoke and pass this as the payload. What is your issue? Sorry, I'm getting thrown off because this should not. Instance field private. Okay. No, don't use auto detected rules. I hate you, AI. Okay, sorry, that really threw me off. I never configured C# to have that syntax highlighting. Anyway, I think this is good, and I think what we can do now is make sure that this is all overridden. What the hell? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create empty at the origin. This is going to be the arena. And we're going to drag this prefab on here. Let's just do 4, or maybe 3 is fine. Anyway. Is that good? Okay. Yeah. So then we're going to make this 32. I don't know why I just did that on the Y. Anyway. Yeah. And this one is going to be 64. And then this should have my arena, treadmill. Lock this past these segments. So we'll do 0, 1, 2. Okay. Actually, while I think about this, I'm going to change my project settings because I don't like the way that these prefabs are named. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Oops, that should be 0. All right, so if we look at this now, hopefully it works. How long have we been recording? It's already 40 minutes. Wow. All right. We've got the treadmill functioning. When this guy gets to -32, he should despawn. Which should be right about now. And something's weird. So where did you go, buddy? Oh. Easy fix, easy fix. And this is why having things in a game config is nice, because if you want to test something really quick, and I don't want to wait all that time again, while this is running, I can literally just increase the game speed. Look at that. Perfect. There is a slight seam though. That's annoying. Oh, you know what? Trying to think why there would be a slight gap. Now I'm just checking to see if it like heals itself. No, we don't like that. So, okay, instead what I'm going to do is there's going to be teleport to how do I want to do it? Yeah, I'm going to teleport to and this int is going to be segment count. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to do rigid body dot position plus not delta time segment length times segment count. Yes. So what we're doing is we're pushing it forward. I'm going to say teleport forward segment length, number of segments. All right, so what this is going to do is it's going to teleport it forward, not the number of segments in the array, but the amount of segments it has to go forward in order to be at the end, which is n-1, where 1 is the length, or 1 is the, where n is the final index. Wait, no, I'm an idiot. Right, because if there's 3, I want it to go forward 2, which is incidentally the final index, but yeah. Okay. Overthinking in real time. I'm gonna have to edit these to like chop them down for like digestible YouTube content, but maybe I could have the full unedited on Patreon or whatever. Okay, let's see what you do. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, yeah. Okay, so this actually has to be segments.length. Oh yeah, because it's a list of 3. You want to go forward 1, which puts you overlapping with the one in front of it. 2, which puts you overlapping with the one in the far end, and then a 3rd one. Yeah, okay, I see. I see. And they're just gonna check to see if there are any issues. There are. One second. Whoops, I had just I had to step away, and I had to walk my dog, and I came back and was just going, and I forgot that I had not hit unpause. Anyway, I refactored this. The arena segment right now is just a superficial class. I decided to move all this stuff into arena treadmill, and because we're strictly speaking not using collisions, we're using triggers for the most part, and especially the arena segments aren't colliding with anything one way or another. So I'm just moving the transforms and I'm moving them in lockstep inside the treadmill class. And one other thing I'm going to do is public float, and it's going to be what do I want to call it? Distance traveled get private set, and we're going to do distance. I'm going to handle all the movement first. Then we're going to make a public event because why not? Float distance travel changed. And we'll use this to hook into things like enemy spawning. So say distance travel changed, invoke distance traveled. I don't think you need a this is effectively going to be a singleton because there's only one that really exists, but we don't really need to treat it like a singleton. But what we can do is we can just make this static. So any UIs that listen to this, for example, let's see. Oh, it doesn't show it here, but after you go to endless mode, you actually see the distance traveled here. I think we'll put that as sort of a debug thing, just so we can see it. Yeah, why not? We'll do that right now as part of it. And we call this a reference canvas. And then we'll use a proper UI canvas and keep that separate. Canvas. And what I like to do for HUDs like this is usually keep things pretty separate and distinct. That way, if they're relational, I put them in a layout group and put like constraints on them. But I think for something like this, it's relatively always going to be like in the center, offset by a certain amount. So we'll just do that for now. As this matures, we can refactor the UI, so I don't really care too much. So what I like doing is we'll put it to the right, change its width to be like that. Its position X will offset by like that. This is why I love having reference, by the way. Make it 75. We can make its height like 50. And these panels I just use for layout. And you'll see. I usually make this image go away unless the design calls for it, but this is really just to get an idea of the container that I'm putting things in. UI. Okay, I got it. Okay. And we're going to duplicate it. Can I control size, width, and height? Spacing. Both of you need a smaller font. And we're gonna make this center aligned? I think so. Yeah, like true center. And this is gonna be label distance. This is going to be val distance. And we're gonna call this 0 meters. Okay, we can auto size that for now. Oh, right. Padding bit 4. Okay, that works. Oops. 0M. And we're gonna make a UI. Unity script. This is gonna be distance traveled panel, and it's going to have serialized field, private text mesh, pro GUI, distance travel text, wake, debug assert, distance travel text isn't null, and in here we're going to have treadmill, distance travel changed, plus equals. Actually, we're gonna change this to on enable. That way we can if we're dynamically toggling these things, we can stop receiving events and get a little bit of that performance back. Okay, that works. So then we can add this panel onto that panel. So I'm just going to put distance because I think that's a little too clunky. Okay. That works. Okay, so this panel needs distance travel panel. And we're going to put this value reference there. And then we're going to turn this image off. And there we go. That's neat. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, that's just the shadow. Okay. But why? So I don't like that because we're getting the shadow information from the light there, and that's making it look a little bit wonky. So yeah, when this teleports away, we're seeing the thingy there. I think we can just, maybe we can just correct it with the angle of the light. Let's make that 0. 0. Okay, there we go. Just make it more of like a more of an overhead light. There we go. It should be kind of dark anyway, so I think that's fine. And I like the idea of paste. What was I saying? Oh yeah. the idea is if you're kind of like, if you're imagining it like you're going into a tunnel, the light should basically be directly behind you anyway. Yeah. Okay. How would this actually look if it was like a 90-degree light? Or rather, if it was a 0-degree light. Dim. Go figure. Maybe we just don't bother with light. You know, I'm kind of digging that. Like, I think instead, you know, what we could do is do like a little bit of a put like a point light on them. Let's just see how that looks. Now I'm just playing. A little bit of time wasting, apologies. That's kind of neat. You could also do like a all right, I'm done digging around with light. Whoops. No, don't close. Son of a bitch. Hold on, I'm gonna wait for this to reboot. Okay, we're back. I'm done digging around with light. I just need to make one change to the arena prefab, or the arena situation here. So I'm actually going to add an additional prefab segment. And what I want to do is I changed the code in the treadmill so that the segment length, the segments have to go 2 segment lengths back before teleporting. So that's why I'm adding the 4th one here. What that should do is, actually I can move all of these back. I'm going to do minus 30. Oh, not in the Z. 0, 32, 64, All right, so there's already one full segment behind. If you look at the way we have this oriented now, there's always going to be one fully behind. And then once that gets all the way back one full segment farther, then it'll be back. So the shadows won't be inconsistent. I was only accounting for the screen view before, but now we're going to account for shadows. So for example, I can bring in this directional light again. Add this. Oh, whoops. Turn this point light off. I want this here. You can do something like that, just like a little bit. Yeah, just make it a little interesting. It's a little too, oh, geez. I'm gonna make this a little bit less intense of a light as well, because we're in like a cave, right? So we want the light to be like somewhat diffuse and cool. Cool, I like that. I forgot to add that fourth one. Okay, boom. So we test this now. So we're tracking distance, we're getting the shadows, we're getting the segments are responding properly, and they're not causing inconsistencies with the lighting, which is nice. And we have the configurability of the game speed. Okay. And I'm glad that I thought about adding this distance marker here, because I believe the way that it's set up is in the game there are like distance intervals where it triggers a spawn, and then it evaluates the available space, and then based off of like some progressive spawn density, it does what it needs to do. So I think we'll call it there. So yeah, the goal of this session was to get the arena segments spawning on a treadmill and get the fidelity with the reference as close to 1-to-1 as possible, which let's just double check, make sure we are in there with our deliverable. I think we're looking pretty good. All right. I was expecting this to be like 30 minutes, ended up being an hour and 10 minutes. So we'll have to edit this down probably, and I will put the raw video up available. I guess I'll just have it publicly available for now, and then depending on if people like this series, I might get a Patreon up and running, and I could make all of these longer segments, and then some additional thoughts and brainstorming and video planning sessions and stuff like that could be available, as well as input from viewers. So bear with me. This is a new thing that I'm doing, so it's a learning process for me as much as it is for you guys. Hopefully you got something positive from this, and we'll see where this goes going forward.